Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dandy Chess and welcome back to another discussion. And this is a new series, I would say, mini series for winter season basically. I think I'm going to call this winter season mini series. So we will talk anything about uh, things that revolves around winter, right? So yeah, and for today, the first part, out of seven parts, we will actually discuss about winter in general, the winter season, right? We already talk about summer when it's the time. We also talk about the fall as well or autumn. We have not just yet talk about spring, but I think I'm going to discuss about spring as well. Like next year when it's almost the time for that. And I also talk about the seasons in my country as well. We have two seasons, and the first one we talk about the same summer, I think, and then for the rainy season we also talk about that, I believe, and yeah, that's just pretty much it, right? And for this one, we will talk about winter now, and I have gathered this material over here. There is actually a lot of things to discuss over here, but I don't think I will be able to discuss all of these things over here. Yeah, like over here, right? There's just so many things, and each of this chapter there's just even more stuff to read, which I don't think I will be reading all of these. So we'll just see the what is it like, just see a little bit of briefly, right, for the next 20 minutes basically. And yes, I started to control my video length so that I don't have a longer time, so that people can just enjoy this or just put this in the background, right? And it doesn't actually take up all of your time basically. Excuse me, I just drink there. Yeah, a little bit thirsty. Anyway, we can just start, I guess. Winter is the coldest season of the year in polar and temperate climates. Um, it occurs after autumn and before spring, like I said. The tilt of Earth's axis causes reason or seasons. Winter occurs when a hemisphere is oriented away from the sun. Different cultures define different dates as the start of winter, and some use a definition based on weather. I see. Temperate season, forest covered in snow during winter. I see, just like that. I know it's mostly like gray, blue or white, but I really love this honestly. Just for the fact that it's cold, it's cool. I already mentioned about this as well. The reason why I like December, right? In the first day of December, I think, best time of the year, basically, best month of the year, or something like that. Um, yeah, pretty much I love the cool temperature, so I don't really have winter in my country, but if I do live or if I do have that in my country, it will be interesting for sure. But I don't think that will happen, especially when I live in the equator. I live in the equatorial line. It means that there's just no way I will be having, what is it called, like winter, right? Yeah, it's just impossible. Anyway, then for the northern temperate zone, it occurs December to March, which is, yeah, about this one, right? So it's just already started. The 1st of December pretty much starts winter until the end of February or about the start of March, right? There's that. For the southern hemisphere, actually it happens in the reverse time. So for people in Australia and any other countries that are lower at the lower hemisphere, maybe in the South America as well, I'm not sure, maybe in South Asia as well, Southern Europe, I'm not sure if there's any. I'm not really great about I'm not that great about my geography actually. Like, Maybe in Africa also, like at the southern part, I think. It happened in the very first time. So it happened actually in the middle of the year. As you can see over here, it's the 1st of June until the end of August or just about the start of September, and that's just pretty much it. Um, when it is winter in the northern hemisphere, it is summer in the southern hemisphere, and vice versa. Yeah, just like I said. In many regions, winter brings snow and freezing temperatures. The moment of winter solstice is when the sun's elevation with respect to the north or south pole is at its most negative value. That is, the sun is at its farthest below the horizon as measured from the pole. The day on which this occurs has the shortest day and the longest night, with day length increasing and night length decreasing as the season progresses after the solstice. I'm actually going to mention about this as well. Well, a bit of spoiler in the fifth or sixth part, I think, and that's just pretty much it. So yeah, expect that topic to happen. So I'm not gonna talk about that just yet, right? Etymology. Winter comes from the Proto-Germanic noun "wintru", whose origin is unclear. Okay, several proposals exist. A commonly mentioned one connecting it to the Proto-Indo-European root "wet" or "water", or a nasal infix variant "went". So, um, winter basically. So it becomes winter, right? Wintru and then winter. Maybe there is that. I'm not sure, but yeah. Cause well, it's pretty much clear, right? Yeah, the tilt of Earth's axis. So the Earth is tilted at an angle of 23rd or 23.44 degree to the plane of its orbit, causing different latitudes to directly face the sun as the Earth moves through its orbit. This variation brings about seasons. Yeah, we already talked about this as well in the seasons, I think. Um, Actually, we actually talk about this in the first episodes of When You're 65. About, well, when this video is up, it's pretty much, I don't know, like 180 episodes ago, right? That's just pretty much 6 months ago. We talked about that. We just halfway go halfway back, right? Yeah, and then this version brings about, yeah, this is we already mentioned. During winter in either hemisphere, the lower altitude of the sun causes the sunlight to hit the earth at an oblique angle, thus a lower amount of solar radiations. Furthermore, the light must travel a longer distance through the atmosphere along the atmosphere to dissipate more heat, and because of that the temperature drops, right? You get less heat from the what is it, sunlight basically, because again, as mentioned over here, the light, or the thing travels more distance, meaning the heat will get what is it, like, converted or diverted along the way as well, losing the heat in general, and by the time it reaches you or reaches the surface, it doesn't retain, it barely retains most of its temperature, so the temperatures drop. Therefore, as we all know, temperatures drop means um, what is it, like, yeah, less heat, right? Meaning that I guess it's also the start of things start to condensate or even crystallize in the sky as well. Therefore, we have snow. I think that's what happened. I'm not sure, but it's probably that, right? Excuse me, need to drink again. I for some reason need a lot of water today. I'm not sure why, but yeah. Also, it's the fact that it's in the middle of the day. As you can see here at the top right corner, the time is about just almost 1 p.m. in the afternoon, right? And I actually haven't eaten just yet. I'm kind of hungry right now, so I might actually uh, finish this sooner than I planned, probably like in 10 minutes or so, and then I will eat and then continue probably. The manifestation of the meteorological winter in the northerly snow, highly variable depending on elevation, position versus marine winds, and the amount of precipitation. For instance, within Canada, Winnipeg of the Great Plains, a long way from the ocean, has a January high of -11 and a low of -21. That is actually freezing temperature. It's a little bit terrifying if you ask me. It means that you will most likely not be able to have water in the liquid form, right? Unless you thaw it, unless you boil it. But it will freeze, right? So it's a little bit difficult probably to get what is it? To get resource for water. Uh, the fact that it's freezing, right? So I'm not sure how plumbing works there. I don't know how like the plumbing works, right? Like you drink water from the sink, right? Um, from the what is it? From the water from the sink. So if it's like freezing, how does it work, right? Like, how do they make it work that the water is still in the liquid? Well, it's pretty much obvious, right? They preheat the water, I would say, in the reservoir probably, and then they pump that, right? And then there's obviously the pipe is insulated probably so that during summer it's not overheating and during winter it's not freezing, right? Maybe there's that. I'm not sure. I'm not an engineer there, especially when in my country we don't have winter, so we never really actually uh, consider that as a problem in the first place, right? Maybe yeah, like I said, I have like engineering background and I pretty much know about that you will need a lot of insulation, right? Maybe some kind of coating for the pipe, maybe from the material in itself, so that it yeah, basically insulation, right? Maybe people use these in during winter. I'm not sure, but yeah. In comparison, Vancouver on the west coast, with a marine influence from moderating Pacific winds, has a January low 1 degree with days well above freezing at 6.9 Celsius or 44 Fahrenheit, which is still cold, not as the freezing point, but it's still chill, right? Okay, meteorological reckoning, um, animation of snow covered changing with the seasons. Okay, there's a little bit of animation there. Yeah, it's just for the northern one, right? It never actually reached my country. This is my country, by the way. This is over here. Yeah, it just never reached mine, right? Yeah, as you see, it just ends, right? And I think it's the same for the southern, for Australia, and maybe South America as well, and maybe South Africa. I'm not sure, but yeah, there is that anyway. I think this is just pretty much the science stuff behind that. And then this is the astronomical as well. Oh, it's actually looking great. I really love this kind of images, especially about forest. And then it got covered by the snow, especially in the mountain area as well. This is pretty much very great. I'm not sure if during this time forest becomes inexplorable or it's still available. I'm not sure, right? Like what's the policy there? I'm not sure. Maybe someday I will travel there myself during winter, just to see if it's viable or not, right? Just go hiking, right? um, go up the mountain and just to see how it is, right? And then we have in the southern hemisphere, winter extends from June to September, and this is in Brazil. Oh yeah, there you go. That's like pretty much in the South America region, right? Um, Here in Brazil, the winter occurs from June to September. And then this is sea ice in the port of Hamburg, Germany. Germany, I believe, is at the northern hemisphere. It's in the Europe, right? So this is pretty much the same time, I would say, about December to February, and this is pretty much it. In the northern hemisphere, some authorities define the period of winter based on astronomical fixed points. Okay. Yeah, it's just historical about that. Winter solstice being the day of the year which has fewest hours of daylight. It means that, well, I think this is for the northern hemisphere anyway. I think it will occur about 20 something. Yeah, this one over here, 20, 21, 22 December. um, which will happen about my birthday, right? Which is 22nd of December. In Scandinavia, winter in one tradition begins on 14th October and ends on the last day of February. So that's long winter then, because we know that December until February is 3 months, but this also includes 14th of October. Well, not really necessary. I don't think it's more like the tradition. So yeah, in many countries in southern hemisphere, including Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, winter begins on 1st of June and ends 31st of August, and this is pretty much it. In Australia, yeah, 21st of June ends in, yeah, basically like that, right? September. Um, which is the reverse, right? Obviously, this is caused by the fact that Earth is tilted for a few degrees, about 23.44 degree, and that caused, just think about it this way. People that are in the northern hemisphere will be will be away from the sun, and then people at the southern hemisphere will be the closest to the sun, right? So therefore summer and winter. But for me, since I'm in the middle, it means that we only have 2 seasons, right? It's not extreme season. Like I said, already mentioned about that as well. Okay, 5 more minutes. Let's actually skip through this and just go ecological. What is it? The snowshoe hare. Oh, this is the rabbit, right? The winter rabbit, I would say. Interesting. Change color in winter. That's actually interesting as well. So during winter they will have white fur, but during summer they probably have like brown color as well. I'm not sure. It's pretty much for what is it like for I think it's for survival as well. So if the plane is covered in snow, it means they need to adapt, right? So they change the color of their fur. But when it's summer, they adapt by changing their color to like brown because um, it's dry, right? So the land is about brown as well. So it's pretty much the same. Example, exceptionally cold. Okay, the Great Frost, 1683 to 1684. So this is basically pretty much winter, long winter, right? Like, the period of time in which, um, what is it like the time in which winter lasts longer than usual, right? I guess like a climate shift or something like that. And then there is this one, 1739 to 1740, and then 1816, the year without a summer in the northern hemisphere. That's actually terrifying. um it means that everything's just snowy, every day is snowy. You pretty much barely even see the sun as well. It's a little bit difficult to grow crops as well, obviously, because some crops require heat, right? Like require actual sunlight. So it's probably a little bit difficult, especially for the farm. And as you can see over here, it caused the Irish famine, which claimed the lives of 300,000 people, which is, a tragedy, right? And then, yeah, it's just that 1887 to 1888. Where is it? Canada and US in March. Interesting. So basically there is a blizzard, but it's in the March, and we all know that the March should be the start of spring, but the winter got extended, and there's actually a blizzard or snowstorm. Actually, I will actually talk about blizzard as well. I guess another spoiler for tomorrow. We will talk about blizzard actually. In Europe, the winters of early 1947, 56, 62, 63, 81, and 82, also 2009 to 2010, were abnormally cold. So, yeah, it dropped. It either dropped even lower temperature or the winter period got extended. It's one or the other, I believe. In South America in 1975, and then in the US and Canada, 2013 and 14 were abnormally cold as well. So the temperature dropped even lower than usual, right? So it's more like cold wave or something like that. It's the opposite of heat wave, right? There's cold wave. And then there's this, all of this as well, and this is pretty much it. Effect on humans. Oh yeah, this is interesting because there's winter. People adapt, right? There's actually a lot of activities that you can do while winter, which also spoiler we will actually explain or discuss about that. I think it will be in the sixth day or sixth part. But yeah, that's pretty much 5 days from now. Also, there's this disease or injuries that you can get during winter as well, namely hypothermia, frostbite, transfoot, chill plains, and stuff like that. Mythology, it's just that, and that's just pretty much it, right? See, also cold wave, like I said, global cooling, global warming, winter festivals. Actually, we we'll also talk about this. So yeah, this is pretty much spoiler, right? So I already covered four spoilers for that basically, which yeah, there you have it. I think that's pretty much everything about winter. Now I kind of want to see about winter image. You know, when it's snowy in the forest, in the mountains, in the plain, or yeah, like grassland or something like that. But I don't really have much time for that. Maybe I will sneak in the future. Who knows? But for now, I think that will be it for this discussion of One Year 365. This has been Winter in the first part of Winter Season mini series, and yeah, 20 minutes we got it covered. I'm kind of hungry. I will eat after this. I will cook some stuff and then continue with with the other six part as well. And that's just pretty much it. But until then, thank you guys for watching. Stay stealthy. I will see you again tomorrow with another discussion. I think tomorrow we'll discuss about Blizzard actually, and that's just pretty much it. Until then, see ya.